sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions is live on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you here on a Monday night as we get set for a huge one in the National Football League. It's a big night for New York. You know it. Even if some of these games are being played in New Jersey, it doesn't really matter. Jets, Bills, Yankees, Guardians, Metsies up on the Dodgers right now. We will check in with the MLB postseason, don't you worry, but we have to lock in on one of the biggest games so far this season between the Jets and the Bills. When you think about what is on the line for both of these teams, when you think about the circumstances that send us into this game, I'm not sure anyone has been bigger yet. On the Jets side of it, they fire Robert Saleh. They make the move to put largely all of the blame at his feet for their 2-3 start and 2-game losing streak. They do move on from their offensive coordinator, Nate Hackett, but not really. Todd Downing is now calling the plays. Nate Hackett gets to hang out with Aaron Rodgers whenever he wants. What does Nate Hackett do? I don't know. I guess he can give some advice, but I don't know why anybody would want it, since clearly the offense has been the struggle for this team. So again, coming off of firing your head coach at home, all the narratives are there. Oh, the Jets gotta have it. Well, it's no different for the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills started out 3-0. Couldn't have been better. Blasting teams. They had a nice comeback win against Arizona to open their season. Then they went out and decimated the Miami Dolphins on a Thursday night. They jumped to the divisional favorites in the AFC East. And then they put it on Jacksonville so bad, I'd listen to arguments that that is what broke that team. No doubt. And then the Ravens cracked them. And then the Texans were beating them up, and they came all the way back, and then they still lost at the gun. And now, all of a sudden, the Bills are on fraud watch. They are. That's not me. Don't blame me for that. If you go 3-0, then play 3 straight projected playoff teams and lose all 3 games, that's fraud watch. That's how that works. That's how it works. But the Buffalo Bills might be playing the biggest frauds in football because the Jets come into this game at home healthier and a dog, despite being preseason favorites in the division. So again, We have 3-game losing streaks on the line here. We have season enders. We have blamers. I mean, there is so much on the line. I love this game. I love it. I lean Bills. I'm not on Buffalo because there's so much happening. I like the over, but there's better ways for us to get involved. Let's though quickly just once again run through where the odds are for these football teams heading into this game. The Jets' outlook. They are the second choice to win the AFC East. The big benefit for them has been the Tua Tagovailoa injury. And update from Miami that they expect Tua to play this season, but he won't play this week. We don't know when he's going to play. It's allowed the Jets to stay steady. A Jets win tonight, by the way. They will be in first place in this division. But again, that is not just the bar. It's not just the plus 110 playoffs. It's conference. It's Super Bowl. That was the expectation for the Jets. And if you are a believer in this football team, a win tonight, you keep that train rolling. At 3-3, maybe they have been able to eliminate the biggest issue in Robert Saleh. I don't believe that's the case. But who knows? A win, Devontae Adams shows up next week, this Jets number is going to go significantly lower. But for the Buffalo Bills, all you need to do is get right. See, as much as I say they are on fraud watch, if Buffalo gets the job done, 4-2 through 6 weeks is great. When you consider the schedule, it's excellent because 4 of the first 6 games were at Miami, Baltimore, Houston, and the Jets, and those were all somewhat projected playoff teams. The Bills are still huge favorites to make the playoffs and comfortable favorites to win the AFC East. But even for Buffalo, while this was, for me, I thought a down season, the standard is still not just making the playoffs. It can't be when you have Josh Allen. That's how it works. The best quarterbacks in football, with everybody probably still labeling Pat Mahomes at 1, and he's earned that through the postseason success. But that next trio, it's Josh, it's Lamar, it's Burrow. Well, we've seen these guys try to get through Pat Mahomes. Burrow did it. They're also 2-4. Lamar is on a run again. We'll see. But we know Josh has been knocking on that door. And even if I felt that Buffalo has not been giving Josh Allen a lot this season, they have to be able to break through. But when we look at the props tonight, all of a sudden the conversation around the help that Josh Allen has/does not have feels a bit more prevalent. 197.5 for Josh Allen? Are you kidding me? Maybe the best arm in this league? Under 200 yards? And you might say, well, Kev, it's because of the Jets defense. First of all, that's crazy. I'm not accepting that. No way, no how. Okay? This isn't a Jets defense thing. This is a Josh hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in 3 out of the 5 games thing. That's what that is. So now all of a sudden, as somebody who has bet his bounce back spot twice this year and sit 1-1, we're going to find out if Josh is off to a slow start or if we have a problem. I'm on it again. The 197.5. I'll tell you right now, it's Sizzle City on these quarterbacks. I'm flying through alts. We're playing specials tonight, old school style. The in-play sports tonight crowd, right? Back from the radio days, me and Right Side. That's what we're doing here. 1-1s, the 500 plus. We're in the mix. I'm telling you, I can't wait for this game. But, man, we have to figure out what's the story with Josh Allen. We're going to find out. I'm on that 197.5. We've got other options to play, no doubt. Let's pop the running backs up here. James Cook questionable heading into this game. I think he plays. That's where it's all leading up to. Is it safe to get involved with the James Cook numbers? If he's playing, I think that means he's good to go. They have, I think, seemingly liked what their backups have given them. Ty Johnson, sweet baby Ray Davis. But I think James Cook should be good to go here on this game tonight. But what's incredible, and you got to give Lisi some credit, who said Braylon Allen was going to take Breece Hall's job, is that we are not doing a side-by-side of these backs, is that we're showing you Breece and Braylon. But I don't know how much of that is Braylon Allen being great and how much of that is Breece Hall's struggles. Breece Hall is on a 2-game run with nearly 20 carries and less than 30 yards. He only has one game this year where he's averaged over 3.5 yards per carry. He is supposed to be one of the most explosive running backs in football, and it has been disastrous. The Breece Hall bounce-back spot people have been waiting on really all season long. I took him for a touchdown. I didn't take him for anything outside of that because I don't really trust him for anything other than that. We look at the pass catchers here tonight. For Buffalo, we also have a questionable tag on Khalil Shakir. He's been wide receiver 1. Keon Coleman step up. Josh Allen, though, has always had a good relationship with Dalton Kincaid. And I feel like I've been out the window a few times on Kincaid, waiting for breakouts. He's done a decent job getting over some low numbers this season. It's a low one again, 39.5. Garrett Wilson coming off of his most prolific performance with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position. What does he have for an encore? You see the numbers tonight. Still not all too high, just checking in at 58.5. Garrett Wilson at plus price to score a touchdown tonight. Pretty much everybody a plus price to score a touchdown in this game outside of Breece Hall, who I am on. If I was going to go anywhere else, Josh Allen, does this guy get back in the mix? Finally in the end zone. Last year, Josh tied the record for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in a single season. It's been a while, though, since we've seen Josh take it himself. Perhaps he does tonight in a huge Monday night game. We go through the full card with you here on SportsGrid after this quick break.
We're at a point in time coming off of a wild Saturday of college football. People are consistently peeking over at this board.
He actually would not be my number 1 overall pick, nor would I bet him to be the number 1 overall pick. I think you got that next wave of NFL players, which is so enticing, which when you see Jaden Daniels come into the NFL and you go, I can get something like that with a guy with just as good an arm.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I think the Washington Commanders are one of the best bets to win it all, or at the very least win the NFC.
Their offensive line, I do want to say one thing. It's very average. The coaching is good. They're getting good coaching from Bobby Johnson, their line coach, here from the Giants. But they've kind of overachieved. Let's call it like it is. Daniels has taken them up. Look, that division's not very good, and they could very well win it over the Eagles and the Cowboys. They're not a Super Bowl team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. We're right back here. It's Game Time Decisions. Quickly, baseball board, I know you're following it. I know you're watching it. It is 6-1 Mets, the grand slam early, put them in a great spot. The Dodgers are threatening, though, as far as I see right now. Bottom 6, bases juiced, nobody out. Keep your eyes here. All of a sudden, the Dodgers could make this thing interesting. Live right now, the Mets remain huge favorites. Too big of favorites, minus 720. You're getting plus 450 on a money line, 10.5 for a total. With 7 on the board, you need 4 more runs. you'd be looking for at least 2, if not 3, out of the Dodgers here, but I think you could get it with Will Smith up at the dish. I think, though, kind of we know we're a little bit behind. It looks like Will Smith may be out, which kind of changes some of the numbers here. Something to keep your eyes on, again, for the baseball crowd. We'll talk Yankees Guardians a bit as well, but I really want to get involved with you here on a Monday night for the Jets and the Bills, man. I am very excited for this football game. When you just think about what is at stake, right? And we hit this in the open, but if you're the Jets and you lose this game, I don't want to say the season is over. I think the Jets have a workable schedule. I do. That if this group rallies and believes, they could survive a 2-4 start. It would be how they end up 2-4, right? Where the energy and vibes could not be worse. If they lose, do they lose because the offense lets them down again? It could be full-on disaster. Let's not ignore that this team's 2 victories are to the Titans and Patriots, 2 of the absolute worst teams in this entire league. Make no bones about it. We have a step-up spot here for New York, but they are against the Bills in a step-up spot as well. If you are the Jets, you desperately would have loved to see them pull that comeback off up against Houston. I know people say that those things don't matter. I disagree. Trends are there for a reason. You know I'm a believer in bounce backs. Well, here's one. Josh Allen's never lost 3 straight games in his NFL career. How's that for a bounce back? Josh Allen has lost 2 straight games at least once, I think in 4 straight seasons, which means he snapped it every year. That's what he does in the regular season. Because when you have one of the best players in the sport, and I know I could be hard on Josh Allen, but I don't hide that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the sport. I just hold him to that standard. I think at times the standard he's not held to by others. That's fine. I'll do the job. No problem. But when you have one of the best quarterbacks in the sport, you don't drop 3 straight. You just don't. Well, that's what the Jets need to make happen here. Otherwise, they're going to drop a 3rd straight game. Absolutely phenomenal. I am on Josh Allen, though, here. And I knew I was going to be on Josh Allen no matter what. I have talked about this now more times than I thought I would, but it is the bounce back spot that appeared going into the game against the Jaguars. At the time, Josh Allen, when he had been coming off of a game of 200 or of under 200 yards, the next game he threw for over 230 in all of them since that rookie year. I believe a 14-0 run. And that 263 against Jacksonville doesn't tell the full story because he threw over 230 in the first half of that football game. If the Jags had a pulse, he was throwing for 400 smooth. So then Baltimore, he goes for 180. And I lined up the bounce back spot again. How could I not? Well, against the Texans, Josh had one of the worst games of his career. 9 of 30. A stunning number. A stunning number, which led to 4.4 yards per pass attempt. Though he did complete some big passes. 4 different pass catchers had a reception of 20-plus yards. As a team, they averaged 4.6 yards per reception. So Josh Allen now is, to me, in one of the biggest bounce-back spots of his career, where it's not just 2 straight games of sub-200, but a game of 30% completions. That does not continue for one of the league's best, which is why I play him over 197.5 as a best bet. Minus 110 juice. No way I'm going to hesitate on that. Now, when you look at the quarterbacks so far this season going up against the Jets, okay, we saw Bo Nix held to 60. That's different. We saw Jacoby Brissett held to 98. Come on now. That's not the comp. Holding Darnold to 179 is impressive. That is, with the way Darnold had looked. That was Darnold's worst game by far. I'm still not going to put Darnold on Josh Allen's tier. Will Levis, 192. Are we noticing all of a sudden the Jets haven't played a great crop of quarterbacks? Because they haven't. They've not played a great crop of quarterbacks. The one great quarterback they've played so far, it's Brock Purdy, who threw for 231 in a game that, again, was largely a blowout. I like Josh Allen to bounce back, and I'm going to take some chances on Josh Allen breaking out in a big way. okay? Not just over the 197.5. Give me Josh Allen for 100-plus passing yards in each half. That is plus 360. Give me Josh Allen for 50-plus passing yards in each quarter at 25 to 1. I couldn't help myself. This at another book was plus 750. That's a FanDuel number. We're in the mix. That is a quadruple odds boost, essentially. So we took a piece of that. And I paired Josh Allen with his counterpart, because this is where you do need to see Rodgers step up. And I know that it's the run game that's lacked more, and maybe we'll see some more Breece Hall. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, to combine for 500 passing yards is plus 420. I am not passing up what is still looked to be two of the better quarterbacks in this league, getting to what is still a low bar. At 500 plus, I'm in the mix as well. I told you, though, we're going old school with our specials. So what does that mean? The 1-and-1. I'll do my best to make sure I can get Donnie right side in the mix with me on this, though I think there may be some restrictions out of our hands that won't allow it. Each team to score one rushing touchdown and one passing touchdown is plus 300. I like Breece to score tonight. I don't see how Rodgers leaves that field without a passing touchdown. I don't see anywhere Josh leaves the field without a passing touchdown. Now we're into Buffalo rushing one in, and I kind of think Josh could do it as well. It's never that simple, but at plus 300, could not pass up. We're in the mix. Jets, Bills. This game's a monster. We keep breaking it down and talking baseball next on SportsGrid.
We're at a point in time coming off of a wild Saturday of college football. People are consistently peeking over at this board.
He actually would not be my number one overall pick, nor would I bet him to be the number one overall pick. I think you got that next wave of NFL players, which is so enticing, which when you see Jaden Daniels come into the NFL and you go, I can get something like that with a guy with just as good an arm.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I think the Washington Commanders are one of the best bets to win it all, or at the very least win the NFC.
Their offensive line, I do want to say one thing. It's very average. The coaching is good. They're getting good coaching from Bobby Johnson, their line coach, here from the Giants. But they've kind of overachieved. Let's call it like it is. Daniels has taken them up. Look, that division's not very good, and they could very well win it over the Eagles and the Cowboys. They're not a Super Bowl team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back to right here. We're on SportsGrid, and we've got a 6-3 lead now for the Mets. If you were involved live, the total jumps up to 11.5. We mentioned that number was at 10.5. You got 2 runs. What's interesting, though, the Mets shoot up to minus 900. So books were kind of middling the live total and then the live money line for the New York Mets there, feeling as if getting out of there at 6-3 was a job well done. Even the spread, which was actually 3.5 live, falls to 2.5 now. But again, that Mets money line does go up a bit higher sitting 6-3 in this baseball game. With the Yankees on deck, I look at their spot tonight up against the Guardians. You look at the number, and I think the value would be on Cleveland because the Yankees are just a bit bigger of a favorite than I would have expected. Look, the Guardians did a great job this season. 92 victories, second most in the American League. Alex Cobb was a solid starter during the regular season. We know that, right? And Carlos Rodon is a guy who could be blown up, right? But I still like the Yankees in the game. Minus 166 is too high. You're not getting much better than that anywhere else. So if I'm playing a money line, I'm only playing value. It would be the Guardians, but I don't love the Guardians. I don't know, where the best value would necessarily be on the board within this game here tonight. I think Juan Soto props check out a little bit here. I do. Cobb this season struggled a little bit more against the left-handed side of the dish, and Soto is Soto. But I am absolutely enamored by what Aaron Judge is going to do in this series. Aaron Judge now, for his career, is a .207 hitter in the playoffs. We know, though, that this playoffs has been nightmarish at a .154 batting average. Well, if you look at the 2022 postseason, that's an upgrade. It was a .139 batting average. In fact, 3 of the last 4 times that we saw Aaron Judge out there in the playoffs, it was a nightmare. And considering the one blip, it was because it was a wild card game where he had 4 at-bats and got a base knock in it, Aaron Judge has wildly struggled in the playoffs throughout his career. He did get 2 walks and a double, though, in that closeout game against KC. And I look at what Aaron Judge did in this regular season, and Aaron Judge did not just check in with 58 home runs and a .144 RBI. He had a top 3 batting average in baseball at .322. He was one of the most reliable hitters in the sport. And yet calmed down a little bit in September. He hit .277. That's nothing to swipe at. So Judge bouncing back is something I feel we have to see. I just believe that. But how do we capitalize on it is the question. Where is their value on Aaron Judge? There's a market over on DK where you can get player to record X stat. So it's kind of a series-long action. Judge to get 3+ home runs is plus 170. 4+ home runs, plus 550. You want to chase the big one, 14-1 for 5 homers. The thing is, Judge, though, if you look at how he closed the regular season, got red hot and had a 6 or 5 game streak of a homer in each. Now, I know the pitching in the postseason is a different caliber. I got you. But you can score in these playoffs. We're starting to see it a little bit more, right? Dodgers hung 9 in that opening game. We've got 9 runs on the board right now in the Mets and the Dodgers. You're allowed to score. Your guys got to step up. So I'm trying to find the best wager on Aaron Judge in this series to capitalize on what I think is just an inevitable bounce back for one of baseball's best. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm chasing something that isn't there with Aaron Judge, right? I hear the world where that's possible. But when I look at him and the season that he's coming off, a by far career best batting average, I struggle to believe he does not heat up at some point in this series. The number I think I will look at, and a simple play in every single game, because you only need it to happen once. And man, I just think it will happen once. Aaron Judge, 2+ home runs. That number is 31-1 over on FanDuel. 7 potential games at it. At some point, I think Aaron Judge does what he does and sends 2 out. Yankees Guardians starts tonight. We've got Joe Lisi on deck. We're live here on SportsGrid.
at a point in time coming off of a wild Saturday of college football. People are consistently peeking over at this board.
He actually would not be my number one overall pick, nor would I bet him to be the number one overall pick. I think you got that next wave of NFL players, which is so enticing, which when you see Jaden Daniels come into the NFL and you go, I can get something like that with a guy with just as good an arm.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I think the Washington Commanders are one of the best bets to win it all, or at the very least win the NFC.
Their offensive line, I do want to say one thing. It's very average. The coaching is good. They're getting good coaching from Bobby Johnson, their line coach, here from the Giants. But they've kind of overachieved. Let's call it like it is. Daniels has taken them up. Look, that division is not very good, and they could very well win it over the Eagles and the Cowboys. They're not a Super Bowl team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you, with the energy joker himself, Joe Lisi. Great to have you here, partner.
Oh, I am just oozing with energy tonight.
Yeah.
Oozing.
No, you
it's
sure
just
are.
emulating out from every pore in my body right now.
And you didn't even bet the baseball. Imagine when you start having the bets flying in the football. Or did you bet the baseball?
I didn't bet the baseball. I'm mad at myself that I didn't. I liked the Mets at 30-1. No, 30-1 before the playoffs started. Yeah. Right when they did it. I liked them at All-Star break, and I didn't touch it.
That's all right. It's all right. You'll get him. You'll get the next one. Let's start with some football here. Let's start with some NFL. Let's start with some Monday night. Jets Bills. It's a huge game. I mean, there's no other way to put it. First place in this division is on the line, right? Lost in the chaos of it all. Where are you heading into this game? Are you eyeing up a side or a total possibly?
Sidewise, I'm only looking Buffalo. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to dive in right now pregame on Buffalo, but I can only look Buffalo. I don't believe the Jets are going to have continuity because they fired their head coach. I just don't buy that Aaron Rodgers and this team are all of a sudden going to come together in 1 week because they're playing on primetime and it's an AFC East opponent. I don't buy that one bit. I do buy into Josh Allen potentially bouncing back in a big way tonight. 197.5, 198 for Josh Allen is an absolute ridiculous number. Mm-hmm. I understand why it's there. Last two games he's been atrocious, 131 and 150 against Baltimore and Houston. But in terms of this matchup, they need him to throw for at least two and a quarter. And I'm going to alt it up, two and a quarter, 250 potentially. I understand Keon Coleman, hot and cold. I understand Kincaid, hot and cold. But tonight's the night to break out. And here's the other thing. As good as the defense was, Kev, last week against Minnesota, just because Ulbrich is calling plays, now he's got the whole responsibility of being the head coach. They might regress a little bit from last week's performance.
I think that's an awesome point that I've heard nobody mention, especially the crowd that has defended this move, which I still find totally bizarre. Right. People that are like, oh, they think Ulbrich's better. Right. Oh, they wanted to see if Ulbrich – you want to give Ulbrich a – what are you talking about, give Ulbrich a chance? You're in the middle of a playoff. What are you talking about? It's okay, though. It's okay. It's a great – and truly, it's a great point. Like, he's in – check Panther. Like, he's got to – he's got to figure out the timeout situation,
right.
this guy. You mentioned alting up Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it as well.
Oh, good.
We're brothers in arms.
All right, let's get it.
If we lose tonight, though,
We lose.
that's fine. We'll get him back. Well, doesn't that then maybe confirm that they have not given him enough help? Because that's one of the best quarterbacks in football, Josh Allen.
It is.
And he's averaging about $180 a game through 5 weeks of football.
Right, and Keon Coleman, even though he had the touchdown last week, 2 weeks ago against Houston, it came in the third quarter. Too little, too late. Every throw short, underneath. They didn't take any deep shots. So I agree with you. Yes, this would confirm it in 3 straight games when you think about the teams that they have played, right? Contenders, you want to throw the Jets in the mix, fine. We'll throw them in the mix because they had a 9.5 preseason win total. But Baltimore and more importantly, Houston, yeah absolutely. So I agree 100%. This would be the confirmation that this offense now isn't what we saw the first 3 weeks of the regular season, and they need help. They're limping now if they were to lose 3 straight, and they have an identity problem. They had this at the end of last season and went back to the rushing attack with Allen and Cook. They're going to have to make a decision after this game if they lose it.
Again, if they lose it, that'll be tough.
Yeah.
Even if they win this game, 2017, Josh throws for $175. That now is not optimizing your situation. I don't think Josh has to be gunslinger, 312 a night, 45. Again, let's give Josh Allen a lot of credit. He's not turned the football over yet this season as far as an interception goes. I don't know off the top of my head if he has a fumble yet this year, but even Josh Allen, every game this year has been around minus 125 or higher to throw a pick. 5-0 to the no on that wager. That's great. But you know what? I'll give you an interception here and there. You have to fully utilize what you have in this guy. Lisi, I could not go back. I was trying, right? Very few times in the Josh Allen tenure has this team gone consecutive games without scoring 21 or more points. You look at their team total tonight. They're hardly expected to get through that number.
No, I think they blow through that number.
Yeah, okay.
I do. I'm leaning to the over tonight. I'm willing to take it up to 47.5, 48. I think we can get points in regards to this matchup. And again, I know win might be a little bit of a factor, but that aside, I mean, Buffalo, Josh Allen, he's used to this. Is Aaron Rodgers used to this in this matchup? Aaron Rodgers is more turnover prone than Josh Allen through 3 picks. Nobody's asking that question. Hey, Aaron, why'd you throw 3 picks? You cost your team the game last week, not the defense. And you fired the guy that was the main orchestrator and blueprint guy for that defense. Let's see how they perform tonight. If they perform well, then they have an opportunity to make a wild card. I don't think they're going to win the division. I just don't think they're built that way. But again, for if you're back in New York tonight, it's not so much Aaron Rodgers. It's that rushing attack that's been non-existent, Kev, in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, and I think that is, the thing that I know rubbed me the wrong way so far, and I know what kind of you had talked a lot about heading into this season is we look at this team and with the Jets and, hey, what's going wrong? It is the offense. So let me ask you about the backfield. It's very interesting, but we had the great kind of Braylon Allen, Breece Hall debate. And I'm not trying to take any credit away from you, but to me, the story is not, wow, Braylon Allen looks amazing.
Right.
The story is Breece Hall has been awful so far for the Jets. How much of that is him? How much of that is play calling? How much of that is offensive line? I can't wrap my head around that.
Well, I think it's about 33% across the. I think part of it is Breece Hall hasn't looked like the same running back.
Yep.
The same vision, the same cutback ability. That's part of it. I think the other part of it is the play calling, and I think the game flow. Right when you're in an ugly game like Denver 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and it's a rainy field, and you knew Denver was going to take away the rushing attack. That they needed the passing game to really take over, started out to open up the rushing game. Nate Hackett wasn't doing that. The play calling, sometimes you need to throw to run.
Yeah.
And you don't have to throw it 40 or 50 times a game, but if you're more aggressive on first and second down, that opens up a lot of things later in the ball game, and they didn't do that. They became completely predictable and one-dimensional, and that was on Nate Hackett, but part of that, I think, is on Aaron Rodgers as well. He has his hand in the play calls. I guarantee you, audibling out of certain types of looks, we don't talk about that either.
No, it's an interesting point, though, Joe, because this year, if you look around the league, it looks like rushing efficiency's up. It looks like yards per carry for these backs is up. Brees Hall, I'll give you an example. 21st in football in rush attempts at 65. He is at 197 yards. Of players that have 65 or more rush attempts, the next closest player is DeAndre Swift at 325.
Unbelievable.
And the story on Swift was he might be the worst running back in the league, and Roschon Johnson needs to take his job. And by the way, Swift is at 3.6 yards per carry. Brees Hall is at 3 flat. There is no other player in the league who's got 65 or more carries that isn't at least at 3.5 yards per carry. He's at 3 flat.
Right. So that's the offensive line, though, too, right?
Yeah.
Offensive line, play calling, and trailing in certain games, right? When they trailed 17-0 in the first half last week, the rushing attack became non-existent, right? They didn't make a commitment to the run. They had an opportunity in the second half, but then they went away from it.
When you're trailing like that, usually it should be a cheat code to get like 7, 8, 9 yard runs because they're not expecting it light boxes. And I think that is where you can point to the quarterback. Where are you seeing heavy boxes and not switching out of it?
Right.
Or you check left, check right? Like that is, to me, Brees Hall's whole thing is being an explosive runner. That we're not seeing that at all this season with Brees Hall, and it's odd to say the least. We're going to switch over to some college football. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, we're here on SportsGrid.
We're at a point in time coming off of a wild Saturday of college football. People are consistently peeking over at this board.
He actually would not be my number 1 overall pick, nor would I bet him to be the number 1 overall pick. I think you got that next wave of NFL players, which is so enticing, which when you see Jaden Daniels come into the NFL and you go, I can get something like that with a guy with just as good an arm.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I think the Washington Commanders are one of the best bets to win it all, or at the very least win the NFC.
Their offensive line, I do want to say one thing. It's very average. The coaching is good. They're getting good coaching from Bobby Johnson, their line coach, here from the Giants. But they've kind of overachieved. Let's call it like it is. Daniels has taken them up. Look, that division's not very good, and they could very well win it over the Eagles and the Cowboys. They're not a Super Bowl team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here on Game Time Decisions, and a Game Time decision has been made. A surprising one. Breaking news from Mike Garofalo of NFL Network that it is going to be an inactive status tonight for James Cook, the Buffalo Bills starting running back. Joe, what do you think about this decision?
Well, it hurts, right? It hurts because of his ability to catch the football out of the backfield, the rushing attack. But Ty Johnson's an adequate backup, right? I think the key to the game, though, Kev, is Josh Allen. You know, if that passing game is going, Ty Johnson and the rushing attack will be just fine. We know that the Jets most likely will stack the box and then force Josh Allen to beat them over the top. So even though it's a huge hit in terms of James Cook being a dynamic playmaker, I think they'll be okay as long as Josh Allen is successful in regards to the lineup. Doesn't change my feeling on the game. I still believe the Bills will win, and it doesn't take away from the over in my mind. I think that could be more throwing.
I think it's an interesting way to look at it. I think that could mean even more Josh Allen running.
Yeah, could
right?
be.
I think that's one way to look at it.
RPOs.
Josh Allen has averaged nearly 50 yards per game on the ground against the New York Jets in his career. He's had some interesting games with the Jets where they've played really well against him. I know you're not scared to buy low. Now, the numbers are not out yet. Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, could you see yourself being interested in either a backup running back for Buffalo?
I think Ray Davis anytime touchdown just because they utilized him inside the goal line before. He's a bigger back, about 5'10", about 200. Look for sweet baby Ray to hit pay dirt tonight. And I'm, in terms of the playmakers, I'm going to go back to Kincaid. I was on him last week. He cost me. Didn't get over the 42.5. I think Dalton Kincaid can be an option, but again, it's Josh Allen in the passing attack. Throw it to everybody. Let's get everybody involved.
Let's see how updated we are. We are okay. Ty Johnson plus 250 for the touchdown.
Sweet baby.
Now I'm not seeing Ray Davis, which is plus 200. Whoa.
All right.
I don't think Ray Davis is the lead back.
He's not the lead back, but he's probably. Ty Johnson's the lead back, but inside the 20, I think they go more to.
I don't even agree with that. Remember the game against Baltimore, Lisi? James Cook was healthy. Ty Johnson got the goal line carry there. I just think that's. Here's what I'd say. I'm not saying I'm running to bet Ty Johnson. I'm not touching Ray Davis at that number though. And now I want to see the rushing totals if those get listed at any book.
You think Ray Davis probably what 24?
Well, James Cook's numbers were if we could pop that up, the James Cook numbers, because I know we had the I think in the mid-50s, give or take, for James Cook tonight. So you probably, split it? I mean,
Ty would probably be like close to 38.
So there's James Cook's numbers, Lisi. 55.5 rushing. There's your bet. Come on now. The receiving game, 15.5. Ty Johnson, short to intermediate.
Let's do it. 15.5. I would do him and Ray Davis screen game check down.
So you'd split the pot, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think they're both going to eat tonight in regards to carries.
Okay.
So I personally would take a shot on Ray Davis to hit pay dirt just because I just feel like a little bit bigger body type going up against a front seven that's very good against the run. Ty Johnson's more of a speedier back.
Yep.
Leaner. That's where I would look. But that's my take. That's the way I would break it down.
I'll throw another one at you. I'll see if I can hunt for it.
Good.
Curtis Samuel.
Oof.
Let me get a rush receiving total.
He has cost me throughout the years.
Has he?
Yeah. He has cost me. Washington, the San.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if Curtis Samuel runs the rock here. How about most rushing yards in this game?
Who are you going to go with?
See, I know what you're going to do, but I'll throw it out.
Go ahead. This
is on DK. Breece Hall, even money.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Davis, plus 130. Ty Johnson, plus 450. Braylon Allen, plus 650.
Really?
You want Josh Allen, plus 650 as well.
I would take Josh Allen and I would take Braylon.
Yeah, I know. See,
why is Braylon's plus 650?
How is Breece not a free square, though, man? Come on. He's still out carrying him a lot.
But I'm just thinking breakaway runs, right? I'm thinking who has the. You think that here's the thing, and Donnie brought this up about a week ago when this game was on the horizon, right? When we were talking about the coach. Do we really think Aaron Rodgers in primetime after the coach has been fired is not going to chuck it about 45 times in this game to show, hey, look, that's the one concern. You think they're going to be more conservative with the rushing attack? I think it's important. You need the rushing attack to take the pressure off of Rodgers. But is he going to allow that with an interim staff?
So I took Allen and Rodgers to combine for 500 plus at plus 420.
That's not
because
bad.
I think I'm already in on Josh, but I could see Rodgers letting it rip as well. I do not necessarily know what the change in coordinator means for the Jets. Because if we're all kind of under the assumption that Rodgers has his hand in the pot so much,
right?
Are we Todd Downing's like, Rodgers, sit down. This is how we work now,
right?
And Rodgers, we know, has full autonomy at the line anyway. So, look, I think he will be involved. I think he will get usage, no doubt. But I don't know 1,000%.
I feel confident on the over. I feel good that I just altered it 46.5. Plus 182.
You like the over?
I did take it, yeah.
Here's where I'm at. I'll just say this because this is big news. The pregame show is going to have this covered for you guys as well. Casey Hudson, Tom Vecchio, Adam Kaufman, and Dave Sharapan. So stay here for that. You know they're going to do a great job, and they'll likely get a lot of these numbers. I'll tweet it out to the folks as well, at the Kevin Walsh, at Go for the 2, just the number 2. I'm going to look at this Brees most rushing yards. I know it's chalky. Even money with the other team's lead back out. Like, here's what I'll say to you. I don't mind your Braylon Allen plus 650. Ray Davis at plus 130 to me is legitimately insane. I'll give you another. Here's some credit to you. Braylon Allen's now 4-1. Would you log in?
I know.
Would you log in? Sneaky. The other thing I really want to see is Curtis Samuel rush receiving yards.
You're in on Samuel today.
I think he might steal 2-3 carries, and then you just blow through a total. That's to me.
It's not a bad look.
That's who he is as a player.
I know.
Curtis Samuel.
I know.
So that's something I want to take a look at now. Khalil Shakir active, by the way.
All right.
So it doesn't get too out of hand.
How about this Mike Williams, 26.5?
You could go ahead. You know you bet him every game. I'm
just saying, why is he out there?
Look, I can't get there. Like, they don't use him. Why don't they use him? I like him tonight for 35 plus. I can't get there.
You can't.
That's you. I can't get there.
That's exactly
I
how
know.
I'm thinking.
I know.
40
We'll do the
plus.
college next. Game time decisions.
We're at a point in time coming off of a wild Saturday of college football. People are consistently peeking over at this board.
He actually would not be my number 1 overall pick, nor would I bet him to be the number 1 overall pick. I think you got that next wave of NFL players, which is so enticing, which when you see Jaden Daniels come into the NFL and you go, I can get something like that with a guy with just as good an arm.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I think the Washington Commanders are one of the best bets to win it all, or at the very least win the NFC.
Their offensive line, I do want to say one thing. It's very average. The coaching is good. They're getting good coaching from Bobby Johnson, their line coach. Came from the Giants, but they've kind of overachieved. Let's call it like it is. Daniels has taken them up. Look, that division's not very good, and they could very well win it over the Eagles, and the Cowboys. They're not a Super Bowl team.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back right here. Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi. We got to go rapid fire. This is how we do it. And then we'll send it off into that pregame show. Lisi, let's start here. College. Oregon, Ohio State. Ducks win a close one. What was your biggest takeaway?
The best quarterback won the game, and I thought that was Dylan Gabriel. 300 yards through the air. He had the rushing touchdown. Battle-tested quarterback, has stepped up in big games. Very impressed the way Oregon ran the football as well on that front seven of Ohio State. I don't know if Ohio State's going to be there in the end. They still have some tough games. They still play a rivalry game in terms of Michigan. Oregon, They just have to take care of business. I still believe that's the best team, in my opinion, in the Big Ten, better than Penn State.
So what's interesting is I look at that game, location, it's very similar to how I felt about Georgia, right? Great win by Bama, Georgia's better. Great win by Oregon, Ohio State's better. The books couldn't agree more. That bothered me. I thought I was going to get a great number on Ohio State to win the Big Ten.
Nothing.
Co-favorites with Oregon.
Yeah.
How could that be? I couldn't believe that.
Because Oregon still has to go to Michigan.
Uh-huh.
They still have tough games.
Yep.
Right? Ohio State has nobody.
They still have to go to Penn State. I thought, and here's the funny thing, right? I'm not in love with that Penn State team, and I'm probably just annoyed the books didn't give me what I wanted. That is very disrespectful to Penn State.
It is, and that was a gutty win for them. We were texting, and I thought they were dead and buried in that game.
They looked it,
and
I never would have thought they would win in that game script.
Yep. I'll tell you, high scoring, put up 33 points.
Trailing.
We saw Drew Aller step up.
Mm-hmm.
Bad loss for Lincoln Riley, too. That was an opportunity to really get back. They knock off Penn State. Mm-hmm. They have 2 quality wins, LSU, Penn State.
Yeah.
They're right in the mix as an at-large, but now they're dead and buried.
Every single word you just said is correct. Everything you just said. They are a top 15 team to me in college football with that victory. And the proof is Ole Miss is 18th.
Yep.
And Ole Miss has no quality wins and 2 losses.
Right.
So, I mean, again, maybe I'm too low by saying USC is in that top 15. If they beat Penn State, who still would have been ranked in the top 10, by the way, off of that loss. Speaking of Ole Miss, go Tigers. It's a great win for LSU.
Yeah.
And they needed it in comeback fashion. I wish it looked a little different.
Right.
I thought they could have been more impressive in the game, but they got the job done, then that's what matters.
Nussmeier, a little turnover prone. He's like Brett Favre back in the day. He'll force the ball into double coverage all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like that. What I do like about LSU is not so much the offense, Kev. Okay. Blake Baker has that defense flying. Keep it. Without Harold Perkins, they are flying to the football. Got quarterback pressures, got sacks. We talked about it in the pregame. 13 sacks over the last 3 games heading into that game against Jackson Dart. That defense kept them in it, and they're going to be a main reason why I think they make the playoff. Flying to the football.
The secondary did everything they could, but Ole Miss also dropped a few passes out there.
They did.
But here's my thing, man, and I don't want to go too crazy about it. The Ole Miss stuff is going to really bother me. Now, I know it's probably going to take care of itself.
Right.
But that team the fact that we just showed the top 10 title odds and Ole Miss is up there is legitimately ridiculous.
It is.
There's no quality wins.
No.
They've lost to the 2 best teams they've played in Kentucky and LSU. Like, they're only like plus 160 to make the playoff. They should be 6, 7, 8-1.
They were minus 130 before that game.
And that's because they were favored in the game.
Right.
So I was thinking about taking them. To me, it was, do you want to bet them to miss the playoff or to lose the game? They went hand in hand. Unless they beat Georgia, there's nothing they can do.
Right.
Do you see any world they beat Georgia?
No. They got killed by Georgia last year, too.
Slaughtered. They've never looked the level of that.
Right. Team. Think about this. Blue-collar game, Kentucky moved the football on them. That was a Kentucky team that just lost to Vanderbilt, by the way.
100%. Let me throw an interesting one at you. Clemson. Because I've had a lot of fun with Miami being unbeaten. I mean, I don't know if Clemson, I know they're playing some bad teams. And look, there's not really many good teams in the ACC. I mean, they're a wagon right now, Joe.
Yeah, they are.
You pick your head up every game, they're up by 4 touchdowns.
I know. Kay Klubnik, unbelievable. I'll say this. They beat Wake Forest 15 straight times. The last 4 meetings were by 14 points.
Yeah.
Last 2 games were by a total of 11. One of those had Sam Hartman, right, against EJU.
Yeah.
They beat them up in that game. They are beating teams up, and not just defensively, offensively as well. They're a juggernaut. They're definitely for real. They are definitely for real.
I'm torn because against Georgia, it was the same old awfulness, and since then, they look like one of the best offenses in college football.
Right.
I'm wondering if that Florida State game lets us know they're not that for real.
You never know. You never know. It is tough.
It's tough because here's the deal. K Club has 21 touchdowns and 1 pick. Okay?
Yeah.
Combined touchdowns in this 5-game run. It has been incredible.
Unbelievable.
So much to get to. But we've got your pregame show next right here on SportsGrid.